Everybody in the insurance industry has been talking about boomers and millennials. Well, today on our Marketing Minute, we're going to talk about how these two things aren't necessarily the only factor when doing business and getting talent in your agency. We're going to talk about 3 generational demographics that most people don't discuss, which really decide on which mediums you approach. So, in our last Marketing Minute, you talked a little bit about different generational demographics. We talked about boomers and millennials and, what's the big deal. But you also mentioned, 3 distinct generational buyer perspectives, and they were different than age-related. They were traditionals, digitals, and the connected generation. Can you tell us a little bit more about what these are?
Yeah, Zach. I came across this, Brian Solis, one of my favorite authors. He was talking about business, and he's a futurist. And he says it's time to forget age demographics, that there's 3 separate demographics out there that we should be focused on. And we should have an omni-channel presence where we're focused on being where these different generations are. Traditionals are sort of what the words stand for. They still read print. They're still involved in intrusion type of marketing where they're watching TV ads and commenting on them. Digitals are where most of us fall in, and it's a little bit of a blend of both, where you still depend on traditional media sites, but you're connected. You're using Google. You're using Yelp. You're doing research online for products and solutions. The connecteds are sort of the trendsetters. They're on the cutting edge. And that's where a lot of marketing companies are focused on, because that's the demographic that sort of moves the marketplace. And they're totally connected. They're dependent on their electronic and digital world to make all of their decisions. But again, it's not age, it's not geographical. You have very tech-savvy grandmothers, and we have 21-year-olds that are using flip phones.
Right. So, in the insurance industry, I've seen it a lot from even when I started, and it's always been boomers, or we need more millennials in the insurance industry. And so I guess why don't you explain a little bit, like, how is this different than everybody else's approach to, we need to go after millennials or we need to go after boomers?
Well, I would say millennials are maybe a driving force in the connected generation, possibly by numbers. But the idea behind that is you don't connect to people based on their age, connect to people based on where they are in buyer's journey, for example. And I think that there are agents that are like, I don't want a client that's like this, or I don't want a client that's like that. Do you take the time to sit down and really come up with a persona of, this is my ideal client? And a lot of times they're going to connect in a way that you most importantly have to position yourself to be at the end of that road.
Okay. So it's boomers and millennials, but then there's also these 3 which boomers, millennials could fit in any 3 of these categories.
If you looked at the statistics of the connected generation, it might be millennials and boomers.
Okay.
But the connecteds possess both.
Right. Well, so how can we use this information then? If we're talking to people, we're meeting with people, we're doing business with them, how can we use this information and knowing, because I think a lot of people assume, well, all millennials, they want to do business, via FaceTime and text messaging. And part of that might be true, but like you were saying, they have a flip phone, it's not happening. So how can we use this to our advantage?
Well, you've got to, again, try to design where you think you're most comfortable, the sweet spot for your agency or you individually, and market to that. And don't come up with an ad campaign or a marketing campaign that's gray. Come up with one that, as I said, it's at the end of the road that they drive down. Okay. And that could be the Yellow Pages. It could be Twitter. It could be Yelp. It could be Facebook. It could be a blog.
Okay. Thanks. So it's just connecting the right person to the, correct way that they like to do business then.
Yeah,
And just instead of saying millennials, phones, older generation, newspapers, it's
Yep.
just finding who likes what.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks, Mark. And if you guys have any questions, on this specific topic, feel free to drop them in the comments below or shoot us an email. We'll do our best to get back to you. Thanks.